All right, let me start the recording. Cool. Thank you guys so much for jumping on our team call. Like I said, this is a very abnormal time for us. Normally we're meeting much later, but it's cool because I get to see some faces and some names that I don't normally see. So it's really great to see y'all here. 1 second. There we go. And I'm just so excited to have you part of this. So what up? Are you guys excited? Yes, I know. I look different, right? Here's old Holly. Here's old Holly. Hold on. There's old Holly. I know. Here's new Holly. But still no makeup. I have to put these drops in my eyes every 30 minutes. I'm like, for the next month, I'm all, why am I even gonna mess with makeup and I can't actually touch my actual eye for a month? So there you go. No makeup Holly. That's what you get. Anyways, I am so happy to be here with you guys. I'm kind of digging the all natural look too. Which is, it's kind of, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get used to this. I'll start doing less makeup. But here we are. We are at the end of our May push. So if you are doing that with us, then I'm so excited that you've been doing that with us, because I'm starting to see lots of people roll in with their results, sales, been able to do stuff. Hang on 1 second. It's texting me. Cool. We are on and ready. Okay. So if you are doing May Push with us, thank you. And I am like beyond excited about that, because I think that it's really reinvigorated some people. I know that lots of people are still like pushing through the very end, which is why it is so incredible that we do have our guest speaker on tonight, because this entire month, it's been about pushing your business forward. And every time I pop on Facebook, I keep seeing this face of Josh Coates, Push Coates coach. And I kept saying, man, this is so in line with what we're doing, because we have been pushing so much over the last month. A couple weeks ago, you joined us for a live event that he had on, and I reached out to Josh really shortly right after that. And I said, hey, would you be willing to do a team call for us? You know, we have this big contest going on right now where we're giving away prizes, and I would just love for you to be on with us. So while I have not personally trained with Josh, I have heard so many wonderful, amazing, fantastic things about him. Of course, I was at Power of I Am last year. Power of I Am is coming up this year too, but I don't want to take up the whole call. I do want to give this gentleman the amazing introduction that he deserves. One of the mentors from afar that was instrumental in me taking my business from literally $0 all the way up to the Million Club was John Maxwell. And I did not know this about Josh, but he actually was on the John Maxwell team, is a member of the John Maxwell team. And he really focuses on putting personal development into a language that us as network marketers can understand. He's trained thousands in training groups, literally thousands, helping them to increase their motivation, their focus, and their income. Okay, you guys? Josh has personally mentored one-on-one 10 of the top 10 coaches and superstar diamond coaches. We are here to learn from him. Josh is the author of the book Clarity and Focus for Entrepreneurs, and he's the host of one of my podcasts that I do subscribe to as well, Your Push Coach podcast. So Josh's message is going to leave you inspired. I hope that you're ready to work, and I am going to turn it over to Josh. You are good to go. Thank you so much.
Let's get me unmuted. There we go. What's up, guys? How's it going? Thank you so much, Miss Fit Finances, for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate it so much. It's always funny when people's Zoom name is like different than the regular name. Can you do me a huge favor? Can you hit the mute all button and then unmute me? I think someone.
I'm going to find that right now. And I'm looking for mute all. Sorry about that. Stand by.
Oh, good.
Participant at a time.
Should be under participants, and then down when you click on participants over in the right window, down at the bottom should be mute.
Here we go. Got it. Sorry about that. Continue. Okay, you're good to go.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I get distracted very easily, and I wish there was a way to have everyone unmuted, but unfortunately, when we don't have everyone muted, crazy stuff is going on in the background of like everybody's call, thousands of kids running around and throwing up on people and all that jazz. So it just makes it a little bit easier to just mute everybody from the beginning and then just rock it from there. So thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I know we've got people from lots of different teams joining us tonight, watching the recording. So I'm excited to hang out with every single one of you. As she mentioned, I am on the John Maxwell team. I've been on the John Maxwell team for a little over 5 years now, but for the last 4.5 years, I've specifically worked with network marketers. It was kind of on accident. I was just doing what I preach to network marketers, which was messaging everyone and their mom and their dog. And it turned out that network marketers were the ones that were most interested in working with someone. And super conveniently for me, John Maxwell had just spoke at Summit like the summer before. So that was obviously a bonus for me, messaging a bunch of Beachbody coaches. And they're like, oh my God, I love John Maxwell. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. Let's chat. So it was right time, right place, all of that jazz working in my favor. But I've been really blessed to work with some really awesome people over the last 4.5 years. And the thing that I love about doing one-on-one coaching is that through that, well, my very first client was someone who was a 2-star, helped her go 7-star in the first 6 weeks of working together. She went on to hit top 10 that year. And so literally my very first Beachbody client, I learned all of the terminology, the PSSC, the elite points, the success starters. I literally learned all the terminology in the world with that very first client. And so what's cool is on one hand, I have this outside perspective, but I have inside knowledge. So I understand your business well enough to put things into your language to help you to clearly understand, okay, like it's cool to hear like the 21 like laws of leadership, but also like how do those laws like work into this? And does that apply to my strong leg and my weak leg, or like just the strong leg, or like how does that work? What if I'm on a dead spot? Like, does that matter? So like all of that stuff kind of like gets mixed in and becomes confusing. So I understand all of that, but I also have an outside perspective, which makes it really easy for me to see that sometimes you guys get trapped in this bubble where you don't see clearly anymore because of the bubble that you live in. For instance, talk to a Beachbody coach and a Beachbody coach will tell you, oh my God, Instagram has just been taken over. It is swarming with Beachbody coaches. How do I compete with all these Beachbody coaches? And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There are billions of people on the planet, and there are like 250,000 Beachbody coaches. There are less Beachbody coaches than there are humans living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is where I live. Has anybody ever been like, oh my God, Tulsa, Oklahoma is just so huge that I can't go anywhere in the world without running into another person from Tulsa, Oklahoma? Like no one would ever even say that, right? So you're trapped inside a bubble, and the bubble has caused you to think things that aren't true. And so my job as an outsider is to pop that freaking bubble and help you to see how clear and simple things really are. So tonight I'm going to teach you what I believe. P.S. If you're able to turn on your video, I know everyone can't because you have some things going on, that's fine. But if you're able to turn on your video, that would be really awesome because I do love to see faces and I do love to feed off of your energy. So if I could see your eyeballs, that would be wonderful and appreciated. If you can't, we understand. No one's going to be mad at you, okay? But if you can, that would be cool because gray squares aren't as exciting to talk to. But tonight I'm going to teach you what I believe is the most significant lesson that I have personally learned in 5.5 years of growing my own multi-6-figure business, but also training and teaching others who have had multi-6-figure businesses, 7-figure businesses, and then of course training thousands of others who didn't have successful business, but I'm helping them to create successful businesses. In the beginning of, I believe it was the beginning of 2017, at that point, I had trained 3,000 or 4,000 people. One of my best-selling trainings, The Art of Recruiting, had that training alone had trained 3,000 or 4,000 people. And I was sitting around and I was reflecting. Does anyone else ever reflect on why isn't everyone doing what I say? Has anyone ever felt frustrated that everyone isn't just doing what you tell them to do? And I was sitting and reflecting, and I was thinking to myself, okay, why is it that like 10% of people that have worked with me one-on-one or in my training groups have like gotten a hold of the things that I'm teaching, have gotten a hold of the things that I'm saying, and just ran with them and just absolutely blown up and taken over the world? But 90% of people that have worked with me have paid me money, have got access to the same materials, the same stuff, and yet nothing. No growth. Now here's what was crazy. To this day, you can ask anyone that has gone through my Art of Recruiting training. If anyone has been to, like, oh my God, that training was amazing. It was the best thing ever. Josh just threw truth bombs everywhere, exploded my world. Ask them if they got through all 4 weeks of the training. Well, I mean, I kind of got busy and I had, something going on, blah, 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 blah. They will sit and rave about my teaching that they never implemented. And to me, that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. If it didn't get you results, like, why does it even matter? Like, why are we so obsessed? And I'm gonna get a little mean Josh on you guys. Okay, mean Josh is like, it's kind of like my second personality. Okay, I have a little bit of personality disorder. I have Josh, who's really nice and friendly. If you come to my Power of I Am event, I will give you like the biggest hug in the world. We will take a selfie. But once I get into business mode, mean Josh comes out, because I just got to be real with you. Is anybody okay with me being real tonight? Is that cool? Can you give me some jazz fingers if you're cool with me being real? Okay. I'm just going to be real with you guys. We have created a fangirl culture. A fangirl culture where we're more excited about getting a picture with someone than we are about actually learning how to become a better person and do better and more work. I spoke with Autumn Calabrese down in Dallas for the last Super Sunday, and it was $25 to go to Super Sunday, or you could pay $100 to sit up front and get your picture taken with myself and Autumn. And the VIP tickets sold out in the first week. Now, this is a $25 event, which, by the way, is just way too cheap. But unfortunately, because you guys aren't allowed to make money off of events, it's how it happens. So you guys are blessed, but you're also spoiled. You're blessed because you get everything in the world for super cheap. You're also spoiled because you get things for way too cheap. There's no skin in the game, okay? So we got a $25 training event. And people are literally paying an extra $75 for a picture. A picture, guys. A picture. Now, we could have charged $100 for just the event with no picture, and people have been like, oh, I don't really have money for that right now. I mean, I just have so many bills coming up. But we offer a picture. People are like, oh, $100? Yeah, that's fine. No problem. We have a fangirl culture where people are more interested in being seen with someone and getting a picture with someone and asking them where they got their damn jeans than they are with learning from them and implementing something that will change their life. You see what I'm saying? And people will just rant about how incredible this training was that they never even implemented or finished. And so I sat down and I asked myself, what is it about the 10% of people that made the difference that they went and got the kind of results that they got? And as I thought about it, here's what I realized. That 10% of people came to me with something very, very specific that I'm going to teach you about tonight. I want you to write this down in all caps. I want you to underline it. Some of you, if you listen to my podcast, you've heard me talk about it. Well, we're going to talk about it again. Okay? The word is urgency. Urgency. I had one girl come to me. Well, actually, the first year that I was working with Beachbody coaches, I started working with several of them in June or July. And around September, I have about 7 clients come to me and say, oh, I forgot to tell you, there's this really important thing I really want to do this year. I want to go elite. I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but let's do it. In September, now we've been working together since June, and in September is the first time they're bringing up this thing called Elite. Now, for those of you that don't know what that takes, back then it meant that you had to be at least 5-star, and at least 2 of your diamonds had to be brand new diamonds, and then there was a certain amount of elite points you had to score through PSSC, stuff like that, okay? I didn't know any of that stuff. All I realized was, okay, how we got to the end of the year to make this happen? They're like, technically I have to enter qualification by like mid-November. Oh. So we've got like 8 weeks to make this happen. 8 weeks. First of all, I was pissed at him for just bringing it up. But here's what I said. If it's that important to you, it can happen, but it will take a lot of coffee and not much sleep for the next 8 weeks. And if you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. I'm not telling you have to do it, okay? I'm just saying that's what it would take. And I helped, I think, 5 or 6 different girls go elite that year for the very first time that were like a 2-star in September. Why is that? Because they had this thing called urgency. And when I reflected and realized that the people who saw the most incredible results with me were people who had specific goals on a short timeline, I realized I had got a hold of something that could change the freaking world. And as I reflected on my own journey, guys, in my first year on the John Maxwell team as a life coach, I signed 2 clients and made $500. My whole first year with John Maxwell as my mentor. 2 clients, $500. I like to say it like this. Some of you feel like suckers because you didn't hit Success Club this month. I didn't hit Success Club for the year, okay? I would have technically landed like SC4 for the whole freaking year. In year 2, I did this crazy thing. I said, dude, if this is ever going to work, you're going to have to like go next level. And I pulled out a big, huge calendar and I did something crazy. I wrote a 10 in the top right corner of the calendar. Now here's a guy who's got 2 clients, 2, okay? And I just wrote down a goal at the top of the calendar to try to sign 10 new clients in the next 30 days. What is that? That's urgency. And then I looked at my weeks and I said, okay, I'm going to have to sign 3 clients every single week to make this happen. And all of a sudden, because of having a goal right in front of my face, what did it do? It forced me into a higher level of action than I'd ever had before. The biggest problem that most people have is that number 1, their goal isn't big enough. And number 2, it's not close enough. The goal's not big enough and it's not close enough. When I got a hold of this, I changed my name from life coach to push coach. I sent out a message to every single one of my one-on-one clients and I said something like this. Going into 2017, I'm going to be shifting my focus a little bit to working with people who have very specific goals that they want to chase this year. If you do not have a specific goal, I still love you. I still believe in you, but the one-on-one setting will not be right for you. I only want to work with people who have a very specific goal. 50% of my clients stepped down. 50% of my clients messaged me and said, oh my God, that is exactly what I need. I lost half of my clients, but it didn't matter because the half that stuck around were the right half. And as I changed my terminology and started preaching this expectation, do not even sign up if all you want to do is watch my modules. Only sign up if you want to put in work. You know what's crazy? My sales actually went up, not down. But my testimonials also like quadrupled because I started calling out. Here's the thing. I really do believe that everyone is a hard worker. I just think we very rarely call out to the hard worker inside of people because we're so afraid to leave someone out or make things harder that we're constantly calling out to the party in everyone instead of the work in everyone. And what I have learned is that when we get together and work really hard together, we finally have a reason to party on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'll tell you, me and my clients, when we meet up at Summit, we have us a party. But we're having a party because we're celebrating all of the hard work that we've done and the things that we've created. Oh, and by the way, we don't mind grabbing the check to pay for the party because we actually got paid to do something this year. We actually are celebrating on a cruise because we earned it, not because we paid for it and are now worried about the credit card bill we're going to have to face when we get home. You see what I'm saying? And I changed everything that I taught and everything that I did to be around this urgency. By the way, I did go on to sign 10 clients that month. And I signed 10 clients month after month after month until my schedule was full. And I had to then start launching virtual training groups because I had no more room on my schedule for one-on-one clients. A guy who had 2 clients found a way to sign 10 clients in 1 month. I'm about to teach you how. You guys want to hear how? You guys want to hear how to 10x your results without having to 10x your efforts? How many of you are like, dude, if there's a way I could get 10x the results with the same amount of effort, I'm in. Raise both hands and give me some jazz fingers if you're in. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Number 1, urgency. Sorry, that was me drumming on my desk. There's not an earthquake or anything like that. I get excited and I start drumming on things. Number 1, urgency creates focus. Urgency creates focus. You want to hear what the life of an entrepreneur is like when you don't have focus? I can tell you about it because I was there year 1. Listen to a podcast. Podcast says you need a website. So you go spend $2,000 in 6 months building a website to realize you don't have anyone visiting your website. So then you listen to another podcast that says, hey, if you're not getting enough traffic on your website, sign up for my training on how to build a click funnel. And it'll hand people to your website every day. So you then spend $2,000 in another 6 months building a click funnel only to realize you're a freaking Beachbody coach. People don't buy anything from your website. On top of that, you're like, well, I mean, I heard so-and-so is on YouTube, so apparently I need a YouTube channel. I mean, I heard such and such on the National Wake Up Call, and they said that the way they have success is they've been using Instagram stories. I haven't posted on Instagram in 7 years, but I guess I'm going to try this stories thing. Oh, this person got 1,000 leads last month using Pinterest. My God, I love Pinterest. Let's do that. And before you know it, you have got 1,000 different things that you are trying to do, and nothing is working. And what really sucks about that is you start to question whether or not this really works for you. The problem is not that none of those things work. The problem is not that it doesn't work for you. The problem is if you have your hands in 1,000 different things, you have no compound effect on your side. I want you to imagine going to the gym and trying out different workout programs every single day for the next year. And then also experimenting with different meal plans every single day. One day you're keto, the next day you're paleo, the next day you're whatever EO, the next day you're vegan, the next day you're high protein, and you just change it up all the time. How successful would you expect to be? You wouldn't. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about health and nutrition other than the fact that if you do healthy things every single day over and over and over and over, it leads to becoming a healthy person. It's really not as hard as we make it. Would you guys agree? I mean, for 3 years, I just let Tony Horton kick my ass every single day. I just pushed play and I went until he said to stop. I never sat around and said, now I wonder if I added maybe like an extra resistance band around my neck and then maybe hung upside down from a wall. And then like maybe like, I don't know, like took in like 50 less calories before my I just did what Tony said. Until I found Body Beast, and then I just did whatever Sagi did. And then I found Lift Forward, I just did whatever Joel did. It's not that complicated. It just takes having a simple plan that you implement over and over and over and over. Would you guys agree? One of the reasons I love working with Beachbody coaches is because building a business is so much like building a healthy lifestyle. You try to do 1,000 things a day in your business, and let me tell you, what you will never have is money. You only need to do 3 or 4 things really, really good. And what's crazy is your company has spelled that out in a thing called the vital behaviors. You know what I did in year 2? On top of having urgency, I realized, okay, if I want to get 10 new clients this month, I better get really focused about what I'm going to do every single day. And I made up a checklist for myself of things that I was going to focus on. And if it wasn't on that list, I wasn't going to put any time or energy into it. Do you know what's crazy? That list that I made up for myself that built my business from basically $0 a month to $10,000 a month in 9 months was what you guys call the vital behaviors. I spent an entire year falling on my face to learn by failure and experience and pain and crying myself to sleep what is handed to you on a silver platter. And then what do you guys do? Go try to find some other trick way to make business work. Isn't that crazy? Now, if I said, I want to see over here in the chat. I don't see anything going on in the chat. What are you guys doing? You guys sleeping or what? If I said, I want every single person on this call to make 5 sales before you go to bed tonight. Show me in the chat box over here. Just tell me what would be the number one thing you would do when you get off this call if you had to make 5 sales before you go to bed. If you don't make 5 sales before you go to bed, you are going to lose your home. Tell me what you would do. Show me in the chat box. Come on. Someone said follow-ups, invites and follow-ups. Talk to people, invites, phone calls, texts. I thought that said taxes for a second. I was like, that's the wrong thing to be doing. Email blasts. Come on, I need to see more. There's a whole lot more people on the call than who's responding right now. Show me. Show me. It looks like most of you agree that if you were going to make 5 sales before you go to bed, it would take talking to humans. Can I see some jazz fingers if you agree? Now, in 4 years, I can't tell you how many team calls that I've spoke on, but it's probably been a few hundred, okay? And I have asked this over and over and over, so I don't even have to ask it anymore. I can just say it. It's basically a fact. I know from being on team call after team call after team call that 80% of the people on this call just admitted that they know how to make 5 sales, but that's not what you do on a daily basis. I know. I don't even know what to say after that. Like, no one knows. Like, oh shit, he's right. Yeah. No one knows what to say. No one knows how to respond to that. It's the truth. 80% of people that get on team calls. I'm not even talking about 80% of the people on the team page that don't take the time to show up for calls. I'm talking about 80% of the people that will give up a Thursday night to get on a training to supposedly grow their business would rather make a post about Josh dropping a truth bomb than they would make money. Real talk coming on strong tonight, guys. It's coming on strong. We're just getting started. This is just step 1 of 3, guys. So what that says to me is you don't have urgency. Can I go a step further? Well, I'm going to. You want to know one of the reasons you don't have any urgency? It's because you're trying to hit Success Club by the end of the month, which means right now on the 30th, everybody's hustling. But it means the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, so on, all the way through the 25th, people are making graphics, trying to pick between pink and purple for your next team logo, trying to work on a website, thinking, oh my God, maybe if I did this click funnel thing, people would just show up in my, people will just show up in my inbox. That's the kind of business I'm looking for. I don't want to have to talk to people. That's not genuine. I want to build this more organically. What are you even talking about? Do you know how long it takes to build a funnel that lands people in your inbox? 6 to 12 months. Now, if you're willing to stick with that for 6 to 12 months, absolutely, people could be showing up in your inbox. Here's the problem. Most of you need money yesterday, not in 6 months. And the Vital Behaviors gave you a way to make money yesterday. You just ignored it to try to get a 6 month from now paycheck. And by the way, because you needed money now, you didn't even put in the 6 months to build the click funnel and you gave up on it. So it didn't make you any money either. You just wasted $2,000 on a training that doesn't matter. Can I give you a challenge? This is what I challenge people in my training groups to do. Do not try to hit Success Club per month, because that gives you 30 days to do nothing. You should be trying to hit Success Club every single week. Say, Josh, that's crazy. If I can't hit Success Club in a month, how would I hit Success Club in a week? Urgency makes you focus on actually doing the right things. Do you want to know how you can hit Success Club every single week? By doing the thing that 80% of you don't do. What if I told you that people in my training groups spend 2 to 4 hours a day on their business, and that I've helped several of them build 6-figure businesses in 4 hours a day, which is probably about the same amount of time you spend on your business to make $100 a week. Remember, I said I was going to teach you how to 10x your business without any extra time or energy. It's not extra time or energy. It's just doing the right things instead of the wrong things. Make sense? How many of you say, Josh, if 6 months from now, I could be making $2,000 or $3,000 a month instead of $200 or $300 a month to work the same 4 hours I'm already working, but instead of scrolling and making graphics and doing, all I had to do was copy and paste messages to people, I'd be in. Jazz fingers, anybody? Absolutely. So why is that not what we're doing? Because we don't have big enough of a goal in our face to make us do it. Write on your calendar, I'm going to hit Success Club every single week. And here's what will happen. You might not actually hit Success Club every single week, but for the first time in your life, you'll find out what you're actually capable of doing this month. You'll find that hitting Success Club this month happens pretty naturally when you're trying to make it happen this week. And now you guys all understand the hashtag that I wear on my wrist that says, let's puke together. Because when I tell people to set urgent goals, everyone says, oh my God, I just wrote it down. I feel like I'm going to vomit. And I say, cool, let's puke together. If that's what it takes to get you off your butt, to build the business that you and your family really deserve, let's just vomit all over the place. Because that's what I'm about. Getting results, not truth bombs. Okay, I'm going to drop some of those on you tonight, but I'd rather get results than get requoted. Okay, so number one is we focus. Number two, urgency breeds creativity. Urgency breeds creativity. So we come up with a focused game plan, aka Vital Behaviors. It's not anything fancy or crazy, okay? And then by putting in the action on the right things, maybe we do realize, you know what? This focused plan is great and it's getting me results, but I wanted even better results. That's when the creativity comes in. That's when you start asking yourself, what other skill could I learn to get even more results in the same amount of time? Now, when you don't have urgency, you are trying to learn new skills just to make life easier on yourself, hoping that it takes away the work element. I've yet to find something that takes away the work element in building a business. But when you're actually doing the work, okay, I spoke on a webinar for some life coaches a couple of hours ago, and I made a joke about how life coaches sit around, and Beachbody coaches do the same thing, sit around asking questions on Q&A calls that make you go, what? Why does This doesn't matter. I mean, so do I like cold call? Do I cold message people? Do I message warm people? I'm like, you don't even know what warm and cold means. Stop asking these stupid questions. In other words, you're sitting in the parking lot with the car in park, turning the steering wheel left and right, and then asking questions about how to get where you're trying to go. That makes zero sense, because you can turn your steering wheel all the way to the right or all the way to the left. If your foot isn't on the gas, you're going to end up in the same spot. Okay? But once you actually put your foot on the gas and actually start to move forward, then you can ask legit questions that actually make sense, because you're going to run into real life situations and struggles. And then you're going to actually need to seek out solutions to those problems. So for instance, oh my God, Josh, I just talked to 60 people this week. And now people are falling through the cracks, and I don't know how to keep up with people. Awesome. Now you need to learn Asana or Teamsy or Google Streak. Do you want to know why you spent 6 hours on Google Streak to then give up on it? Because you didn't have anybody to put in your Google Streak, so it didn't matter. But all of a sudden you got 60 people in your inbox, and you have no choice but to get creative and figure out a way to learn something like Google Streak or Teamsy. Correct? You've gone through 1,000 different trainings on how to use Instagram stories to make sales. But because honestly, you don't really need to make any extra sales, you haven't implemented or followed through on any of them. When all of a sudden your goal is to sign 3 people this week, hit Success Club this week, and you've only got 1 person that said yes, and you are desperate to get 2 more people to say yes, what do you start doing? Oh, I remember that training on stories. You start implementing the creative stuff that used to be a waste of time, now becomes essential parts of your business because you're trying to get more results. That makes sense? Oh, somebody got unmuted. I think it's Betty. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, urgency creates focus, and then it breeds creativity, because you begin to subconsciously look for the things that will help you and assist you to get where you really want to go. And the number 3, which is the most important one, I believe this is the most valuable life lesson I've ever learned. I believe it's the most valuable lesson anyone could ever learn. And that is this: urgency demands ownership. It's all good, Betty. We still love you. Urgency demands ownership. Write that down, please. When I first signed up for the John Maxwell team, at the time it was like $5,000, which was $5,000 more than I had. But thankfully I just had a tax return, and I took 1,000 of it and put a down payment on. And I remember the first assignment was get the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership and read it 3 times. Now, I'm not going to lie. I love John Maxwell, but I was pissed at him on the day that I put a down payment of $1,000 and then was told to go purchase one of his books, so go spend another $20, and then read this book 3 times. Dude, I just paid like $1,000. Shouldn't we be like at least on a live call? I mean, like, maybe we're going to meet up at Starbucks or something. You're telling me go read your book 3 times? I was pissed. Also, I had never actually completed any books in my life other than like The Outsiders and Indian in the Cupboard. That was it. Because I grew up in a world where I honestly hated reading. I thought it was for nerds. And so I got Cliff's Notes to get me through high school. One time I accidentally watched the wrong movie. I don't know if you knew this, but Tom and Huck and Huckleberry Finn are 2 completely different things. If you watch the Tom and Huck movie, you will fail the Huckleberry Finn, the test. And also my teacher could tell by my answers that I watched the wrong movie and called me out on it. Not fun. So I got on the John Maxwell team because I had been listening to podcasts. That's how I fell in love with personal development. But when I was told to read a real book, I was like, I don't read real books. Okay, like, I don't know about this. So I was mad. But then I opened up chapter 1. It was called Law of the Lid. And Law of the Lid said something like this: you will never be more successful than your ability to lead others. You will never be more successful than your ability to lead others. Now, this was a crazy moment. This is like one of those those movie moments where someone's about to die and their whole life flashes before them? I had one of those moments because even though John Maxwell said, remember, this is a leadership book, so he's teaching leadership principles. But what I have found about John Maxwell and others who write these things called principles, they may attach them to a word like leadership, when in reality, they're just universal principles that also apply to leadership. Does that make sense? So Law of the Lid, he said you'll never be more successful than your ability to lead people. But here's what I heard. I heard it as a law of ownership that said you'll never be more successful than your ability. In other words, you'll never be more successful than what you make the decision to be, because you can control your ability. If you suck at shooting a basketball, what can you do? You can practice every day, right? If you suck at speaking a foreign language, what can you do? You can go spend more time learning the foreign language, correct? If you suck at talking to humans, you can practice over and over and over until you become decent at talking to humans. I'm sorry, but being an introvert is not a good excuse. 90% of the most successful Beachbody coaches are all introverts that practiced talking to people. So I sat there and it's like my whole life flashed before me. And I grew up in a church world, volunteering at a lot of small churches. And I still love the church world to this day. But for me, this is just my personal experience. The small churches that I grew up in had zero growth mindset whatsoever. Now, they wanted the church to grow. They just didn't want to grow themselves. Sounds like a lot of entrepreneurs I know. They want the money to grow, but they don't want to have to grow. And I could hear in my head all of the different times a preacher had said something like, this church could grow if they would just get more involved. If they would just do this. If they would give more. If they would take ownership. I grew up also loving to hang out at local coffee shops. Being a musician, it's like a thing. If you're a musician, you also have to hang out at local coffee shops during the day. It's like what you do, right? And listening to local coffee shops say things like, well, stupid Starbucks just puts sugar in their coffee and blends it's more of a dessert than it is coffee, and they have a drive-through, blah, 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 blah. We could be more successful if they blah, 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 blah. I never heard them say, maybe we should try offering an option that has more sugar in it for people that like that, right? Just like I never heard the pastor say, the church could grow if I would maybe do this. Never heard that. Local guitar stores, same thing. Guitar Center is just the worst. They stay open till 8 o'clock at night and they let people just go in there and play all the guitars and make all this obnoxious noise. Well, your guitar store closes at 5 p.m., which doesn't really make sense because no one's off work to buy a guitar at 5 p.m. So maybe you should learn from Guitar Center. So all of this literally just flashed before me in like 2 seconds. And I realized that everyone I've ever known in my life has always blamed their lack of success on someone else. And in that moment, I made a promise to God that I, for the rest of my life, would take ownership of my failures and my success. Because that day I learned the most powerful thing I've ever learned in my entire life, and that is this. No one, and I mean no one, can be the reason you fail. You are the only reason you fail. But that also means that if no one has the power to make you fail, it also means no one has the power to hold you back from succeeding. In other words, You are in charge of your own destiny. By the choices you make today, what you sow is what you will reap. That's a universal principle. We're in control of the harvest we reap by controlling which seeds we decide to plant. And so I made that decision that day. For the rest of my life, I will look in the mirror and I'll take the blame. All of my first year, when I only signed 2 clients, made $500, I was constantly tempted to blame other people. Well, they just don't appreciate growth. They just don't get it. And every time I'd have to stop myself and say, no, dude, I need to become better. And I have to admit, guys, for the first year, I wasn't even sure what it was that I was doing that was wrong. It seemed like I was doing everything right. The hardest time to admit that you're wrong is when you feel like you're doing everything right. But I had to be self-aware enough to realize if I'm not getting the harvest that I want, there is something wrong with the seed I'm sowing, not the people I'm trying to sow to. And that's something I talk a lot about in my new leadership book that I'll be releasing this summer, is that it's not anyone's fault but your own. You as a leader have to take responsibility. Yeah, but Josh, they're not motivated. Well, maybe you didn't properly communicate what they should be motivated about. Maybe you're working with unmotivated people, which sounds like the dumbest thing you could do. Why didn't you go recruit more people so that you would have some motivated ones to work with instead of depending on these 2 people that haven't done anything in 6 months? It's all coming back to you. So to help wrap this up, I want to give you an analogy to kind of help you to really, really, really understand ownership, okay, and how it works and how urgency works when you get a hold of it. I want you to pretend for a second that you've gone out on a date night or a girl's night or a guy's night. I have a couple guys. Thank you, fellas, for showing up tonight. I appreciate that. It's not often that I get to say fellas. I appreciate it. I want you to pretend you went out for the night, okay? And you were on your way home. You left the kids with a sitter, or if you don't have kids, the pets, or if you don't have pets, just pretend your parents or your grandparents are home, okay? And as you get to the neighborhood, you see there's smoke coming up out of your neighborhood. And as you get to the neighborhood, you realize that smoke is coming from your street. And as you get to your street, you realize it's coming from your house. Your house is literally on fire. And your loved ones, for all you know, are there. So you drive as fast as you possibly can up the street. You are racing up the street, pull into the grass, jump out, run for the door. You get to the door, it's locked. And you have no idea what happened to your keys. Because somewhere in between jumping out of the car and sprinting to the door, they flew out somewhere and you have no idea where your keys are. How many of you, tell me this, at that moment with your house on fire and the door locked and the possibility of your loved ones being inside, how many of you are calling a locksmith? Anybody? But wait a second, the door's locked and you don't have a key. How could you possibly help? Do you even care in that moment? No. What do? Like Megan said over here in the chat, you kick down the door. Yeah, but the door is made of 6 inches worth of steel. Okay, then I'm going to punch through the window. Yeah, but the windows are reinforced with bars. Okay, I'll run through some freaking drywall. In other words, you don't care. In this moment, there is no time for any excuse whatsoever. There is only time to find solutions. Now, here's the thing. Take away the fire and take away the loved ones on the inside, and 100% you are calling a locksmith. And you're going to sit in the car and play on your phone until the locksmith arrives. Correct? Agreed? You're probably going to pin 1,000 outfits or whatever the heck it is you're looking at on Pinterest, right? Here's what's sad to me. For many of you, you need this business to work. Maybe you're like me and you're stuck at a job that eats your soul for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you want so badly to come away from a job that is stealing away your life to do something you love, whether it's just for the sake of fulfillment or because you want to be with your kids, whatever that is. Some of you have a spouse in that situation, and your greatest desire in the world is just to relieve some of that financial stress that they wear on their shoulders so freaking heavy. Some of you are literally swimming in an ocean of debt, and you can hardly even think straight because you wake up every single day with that debt staring you in the face. In other words, your house is on fire, and your loved ones are inside. And yet most of you are sitting in the car waiting for a locksmith to show up and take care of it for you. The difference between someone that has urgency and someone that doesn't, someone that has urgency, guys, would kick down the damn door. I didn't know what I was doing in year 2. Josh, what kind of script did you send? I just made it up. Josh, what'd you do when someone says they're actually interested? I just made it up. Josh, what'd you do when you got on a call? I just made it up. Because when you have urgency, you don't need to know the proper technique for kicking down a door. You just kick the thing as hard as you can, and if it doesn't work, you kick it again at a different angle. But we have people that have such little urgency, that have a house that is burning and on fire, sitting around Googling tutorials on how to properly kick a door so that you do as little damage as possible. But what should I post on social media? Post. Make it up. Figure it out as you go. Remember, as long as the car is in park, you can turn it to the left or the right. It don't matter. The second you just drive forward, all of a sudden you can see what turning to the left and the right makes an impact on the journey that you're trying to make. You can't know until you hit the freaking gas. Well, should I use a personal page or a like page? How about you just hit the gas and see which one is working? And if you do hit the gas, you'll find out that Facebook no longer includes the like page in the algorithm, and it gets 0 eyeballs, and you'll go, okay, well, that doesn't work very well. I guess I should use my personal page. Boom, problem solved. Not that hard. You figured it out because you decided to take a swing at the door. You guys see what I'm saying? We have a whole lot of people that are staring at the fire instead of kicking down the door. So my question to you is, will you stop staring and will you start kicking? Because that house is on fire. And I'm just going to tell you, for me, that was my biggest motivation. I understood this. The demons that I refuse to face are the ones that I will pass off to my children. And for me, the biggest demon I was facing was money problems. I was sick and tired of telling my kids no, not because I was like trying to teach them valuable lessons, because daddy just didn't have the money to do anything. Go to the lake, I ain't got money for that. Go to a friend's birthday party, I can't even afford to buy your friend a birthday present. I ain't gonna show up. We're not gonna embarrass ourselves like that. Let's just stay home. Go out to eat with friends after church, I don't have the money. I got sick and tired of passing off the no demon to my children. I was teaching my children day in and day out that you can't have a life. You can't take opportunities because we can't afford them. What do you think that does to a kid? Eventually they stop asking, don't they? Eventually they stop seeking opportunity at all because you have trained them that opportunities don't exist. That's a pretty crappy way to raise kids. And I said, I have to fix this. So I'm going to kick down that door, even if it breaks my heel. I'm going to kick down that door, even if it takes me messaging every human on the planet and having 90% of them hate my guts. I don't care if 90% of you hate my guts. You're not my kid. Last time I checked, no one on this call is my kid. If you want to hate my guts for doing what I do, go for it. I don't care. Because my kids in that house are a whole lot more important to me than what anyone on Facebook or Instagram thinks about me. And trust me when I tell you, I've had some pretty nasty threads started about me, and they hurt and they sucked. But I had to remind myself, dude, does that really matter? Were you building it for them? See, if you're that concerned with what other people think about you, it makes me question, who are you building this for? So I went into my office every single night and I reminded myself that the kiddos running around making noise, punching each other and throwing up all over the floor on the other side of the door were way more important than what some snotty ass person on Facebook said about me. I'd rather take care of my snotty kids because I love them to death. So my challenge to you, set a goal that makes you get up in the morning and bring your best self. Will you fail? Absolutely. You sure will. But guess what? You're already failing. Wouldn't you rather fail moving forward than fail sitting still? When you sit still, you fail by default. When you chase crazy goals, you fail, but it feels a whole lot better because you are moving forward and making progress. So I have a very, very shameless plug to throw at you guys. I mentioned my group a couple times. I have a group called the Push Mastermind because I got sick and tired, again, of people paying me money to watch modules they didn't implement. So I completely restructured my training. I have a training group called the Push Mastermind. And in this group, what we do, we have a weekly teaching call. So every single Monday at 11 a.m. Central, I take 2 scoops of Energize and I hop on a call with you and light your soul on fire so that you can have the belief that you need to go be consistent in your business. The other thing is I put you on a daily tracker. It's similar to the business activity tracker that Carl's created, but it's got some of my own tweaks on it, like planning out your day, writing down your goals, and doing affirmations every single day. To me, those are vital things. If you want to grow your business, you got to take care of this up here, okay? I put you on a tracker so that you know exactly what to do every single day. Now, here's the crazy thing, is every single Sunday we shut down the tracker. And my assistant goes through and looks at every individual. We got about 300 of them in there right now. He goes through 300 people and calculates the percent of activities that you have done to what was expected. If you fall below 70% of your activities that you're supposed to do, you get called out in a post, tagged right there publicly in the Facebook group for all 300 people to see. You then have 48 hours to either catch up on your activities or get kicked out of the group for the rest of the month. That's accountability if I've ever heard of it. When I say accountability, I'm not talking about once a week we check in and say, how are you doing? Scale of 1 to 10. I'm talking about, no, you either do your crap or you get booted. As a result, we have 90+% of people in a 300-person group that are doing 70% of their activities to keep from getting kicked out. Now tell me this. If you did at least 70% of the invites per week you know you should be doing, which by the way, I make people do 5 regular invites and 3 coaching invites every single day. That's 8 invites a day, okay? If you did 70% of that for the next 6 months, how many of you can say, dude, if I could make myself put in that level of action for 6 months, I feel incredibly confident that my business would finally grow the way it's supposed to. Raise your hand and give me some jazz fingers. Of course you do. Because everyone on this call is smart enough to know that the law of sowing and reaping works. So why isn't that what you do? Why isn't it what you do? Because you don't have the right level of accountability to force you to do it. Isn't that the same thing you tell your customers about why joining your challenge group is different than joining the gym? Everybody needs accountability. It is the most powerful force on the planet. So if you're interested in that group, 2 ways to join, okay? You can go to joshcoates.com and you go to the Push Mastermind, which is highlighted on the front page, okay? Called the Push Mastermind, okay? Now, the group is $136 a month or $679 for 6 months up front. Okay, so if you pay up front for 6 months, it's around $113 a month, I think, if I remember right. But I have a coupon code for you called Rockstar. I do a teaching called Rockstar Recruiter, okay? If you use coupon code Rockstar, you can get 15% off either your first month or the entire 6 months up front. So if you pay for the 6 months up front, which is $679, you get 15% off of that, which brings it down to like $590 something. Does that make sense? So if you are someone who is ready to take your business to the next level, who is ready for extreme accountability to get in there and start rocking right now, that's the group for you. Okay? But I said I had 2 ways for you to join because there's some of you on this call that maybe you're not ready for the extreme accountability. You're ready to get some Josh in your face, but you're not quite ready for the extreme accountability. Because I believe in this group so much, I actually created a free trial version of the group, which allows you to get on all the live calls, allows you to get a printable version of the tracker. You won't get held accountable to it, but you get a printable version so you know what you should be doing on a daily basis. And you get access to the Facebook group where we're doing a recruiting challenge on a daily basis and all the daily check-ins, okay? Now, let me just say, if you're like, dude, I'm ready to go freaking next planet, don't do the free trial. Just go sign up, okay? It's stupid to do a free trial of something you're ready to do, okay? I created the free trial because I know some of you aren't ready to go and you need a little more Josh to give you proof that like this is what you need in your life. And if that's the case, that's fine. Take it. But if you're like, dude, no, I need this business to work and I'm ready to freaking go, just go sign up for the group, okay? Don't be silly and give yourself 30 days of free trial when what you really need is my foot kicking your butt every single week. Okay, but if you're not ready for my foot kicking your butt, you can go to this link. It's kind of a weird link. It's not really on my website. It's just a PayPal link. Oops, is that right? Sorry. Let me redo that. That was not the right link. Give me one. Can you guys give me 1 second? Give me 1 second here. I thought that was the right link. I thought I had it pulled up. I didn't. Let me pull up. I copied and pasted it earlier, and I was trying to copy and paste it over again. If you are, let's see here. Copy link. Let's try this again. Can I try again? Is that okay? Is that one different or is that the same? Why are you posting a weird link for me? Delete that. Okay. You guys are going to be really patient with me? Do you promise? Promise to be really patient with me? I have to go pull up another message thread. It would be way easier if it was on my website, but for obvious reasons, we don't have a free trial link on our website, or we would get 2,000 people in the group tomorrow. And then we would have to find a way to onboard 2,000 people that aren't paying money, and that would be crazy. So I only offer this on some like special team calls. But let me go pull up this link from my assistant that he forwarded it to me a couple days ago. Is everybody being patient? Give me some jazz fingers if you're very, very patient with me. Now my screen looks like it's lagging out because I'm trying to scroll through stuff. If you're watching the recording, you're like, what's even happening right now? Don't worry, we're going to get you the link too. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Let's see here. It's almost here. There it is. There it is. Copy. And paste. There's the right link. I got it. There's the right link. What did I tell you earlier about entrepreneurs trying to do too many techie things? Like, we're not tech people, okay? I'm not a tech guy. That's why I have literally 3 assistants. I need 3 assistants to be able to have a link for a free trial, okay? So if you use that one, I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I'm not trying to trick anybody, okay? It will charge $1. We had to put some type of an amount on it. So you'll get charged $1 on your card, okay? 30 days from the day you sign up is when the $136 a month will pop in, okay? If you don't decide that you don't want the group, you don't want to do it, you will need to go into your PayPal subscriptions and cancel it, okay? If you get confused and don't know how to do it, you can email us and we'll tell you how. It's very easy. You log into your PayPal, you go to your subscriptions, you cancel it. It takes like 15 seconds, okay? But I just want to be very, very, very clear. I'm not trying to trick people, okay? It's $1, and then 30 days from then, $136 will charge. Does that make sense? Okay? If you do the trial version, you will not get put on the tracker inside the group. You will get access to the calls, the Facebook group, in your own printable tracker that you can use, but you won't be added to the group tracker and you won't be a part of the call outs until your first $136 a month payment goes through. Does that make sense? Does everybody get it? And that's why I said, if you're ready to just go Next Planet, just go ahead and pay, because that coupon code gets you 15% off anyways. And if you do the free trial after 30 days, the 136 kicks in instead of the coupon code. Does that make sense? Is everybody with me on that? Okay. But let me just tell you guys, this group will literally change your freaking life. Okay. You will get in there and you will be like, where has this been my entire life? Because we are freaking. Yes, we drop truth bombs. Yes, it's fun, but it's fun because we have a community of people that are freaking rocking their businesses. Okay, so I'll shut up now. It's been 1,000 years. I'll pass it back off to you. Hopefully I didn't go over. I have a problem with shutting up.
It's all good. Thank you so much. It was amazing. Totally amazing. Everybody's just like,
I'm so glad.
Yeah. You guys, I want to encourage you so much, do it, because this is, we'll say 10 out of 10 of my coaches, this is the thing that they struggle with. They're like, if you just held me accountable more, so here we go. We have a person who's a pro at it. So every single one of you should be signing up. And like Josh said, if you want that free trial, go for it, but you're going to save more if you just jump in. So thank you so much, Josh. You were fantastic. And we look forward to seeing you at Summit and of course in these groups too. So thanks so much. All right, team. Have a great night. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.